Hi, everyone. Welcome to week two, part two of our digital forensics course. In this section, which will be right down here on your syllabus schedule, we're going to cover custom instructions in writing prompts to filter out the noise in AI large language models, how to kind of use it as a little bit of a fact checking tool. It's not something you can really move information up into and fact check it, but you can pull information out if you're looking for information to fact check an article or something like that. We'll use a really good research tool called Perplexity. We'll show you how to put custom instructions into tools to filter out all the bad information. And then we'll give you an assignment to use Perplexity. It's a free tool, Perplexity.ai. So just set up a free account there. And then you'll publish the assignment to your Medium account and share it over the UIC digital hashtag on Blue Sky. So I'll email you topics that week too, because the topics will change every semester because there's new news stories that are breaking all the time, and I'll give you something that's timely. I'm recording this in March of 2026, so a lot of focus is on Iran's nuclear capabilities and some of Trump's claims about that. So we'll go out and find some tools that can help us find good information and how to set those tools up and then how to use them. So that will be the focus of this video. A reminder too, my first video went 35 minutes, so take a couple breaks during these longer videos. Sometimes I get rolling and just stop every 8-10 minutes and take a little break so it's not too much for you. But I like to just plow through. We do have some readings for next week as well that set up week three really well. Read these; they're very short. Verification handbook, just a few pages in there. Chapter three, which I'm giving you in your week two folder. It's part of my book Journalist Toolbox, a guide to digital reporting and AI. It's a section on fact checking. You don't have to do the exercises or watch the videos. Just read the chapter. It's got some really good examples in it. GIJN has a really good chapter in the conversation. Why people believe misinformation, even when they're told the facts. Believe it or not, people will believe bad information. Sometimes there's no convincing them otherwise. All right, large language models. Large language models are tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, which is a little more focused on research. So please have accounts set up on all three of these. You should have them anyway. Most of you probably do. But one of the things I want to talk about are the privacy and the custom instructions that you can feed these large language models to help them give you more reliable information. So I'm going to start it with ChatGPT and then I'll kind of show you in Claude how it works. Down here in the lower left-hand corner of your ChatGPT, and this works in the free account or paid accounts. I've got a $20 a month plus version of ChatGPT. Down in the lower left corner, if you just click on your name where it says plus here, this is, if you have basic, the free version will just say basic. And go in here, you'll see things like personalization and settings. Click on personalization, okay? And it'll give you some options here, and it defaults to personalization. It also has data controls that we'll talk about in a minute. That's your privacy settings. They kind of bury them under data controls. So your personalization allows you to set the base style and tone, and it gives you a pull-down menu. Do you want something that's default? Mine is professional. I want very polished and precise information. Do I want it to be warm and chatty? No. Or quirky? No. And playful and imaginative? No. I'm working in journalism. I want it to be very polished and precise. So it'll behave that way with me. You'll see it in the answers. Warmness, a little less warmness, not much enthusiasm. More headers and lists, break up the information that comes back to me. I don't want emojis, so I'm telling it less of a fewer emojis. But down here is where it gets really interesting. Custom instructions. And what I've done here is given it a bullet point list of respond to me as an expert on these things, treat me as a novice on these, use reliable sources, avoid Wikipedia or Reddit for sourcing, yada, yada, yada. I've got a whole list of stuff in here. I've got some funny stuff too. Dress me as though you're a 1960s Batman and use terms like my good chum into the Batcave. I'm a big fan of the old 60s Batman TV series. And I do that as a little test to see if it'll actually behave that way, and it does. Adopt a skeptical questioning approach. Be accurate, don't speculate. So there's a lot of fact-checking instructions in here that you can bake into the tool so it'll behave that way. And I have these linked off of your syllabus right here where it says custom instructions. It'll take you to this little document. It's in your week 2 folder where you can just take these and copy them and paste them in yourself. Or if you want to tweak them a little bit and add some other instructions in there, you can. It also has other instructions down here. Nickname, I go Mike Reilley or Batman, just as for kicks. Occupation, I tell it what I do, not too specific. More about me, I'm a journalist. I don't give it, my home address, but I tell it, what city I live in. I, have some basic skills and code and things like that. I've written some books, just some basic information. It does have some memory settings down here. Reference saved memories, the last ChatGPT saved when you're responding to something, I want to save that. You can turn these on and off as you work on different things. So that's custom instructions. Down here under data controls, and they always hide this and make it very obscure. Data controls, improve the model for everyone. If that's turned off, it won't document your any of your prompts that you put in or any information you upload there or any information that it produces for you. You can use it, you still save it over here. You can open it back up, but it won't train on your data. So that's very important. I typically keep this turned off. Sometimes I leave it on if I don't really care. And it's got some other settings in here too. You can go through and kind of look at as well. Security, things like that. But your privacy settings are under data controls. This should just be a toggle at the top that says privacy on or off. But they hide it. And Claude does the same thing. Claude.ai, which is really good for data analysis. It creates very nice graphics. It's also a very good copy editing tool. It'll edit your text very well. It knows the AP style book, things like that. But over here, I've got a pro plan, but it works in the free version too. Notice it's listening to me here. Good evening, Mike, also known as Batman. So I know it's taking my custom instructions seriously. Under this one, you go up to settings. Excuse me. And you put in your full name. What should Claude call you? You can, use another nickname if you want. What best describes your work? It didn't really have anything for journalism or teaching, under here. So I just did other, and then I put in my custom instructions here. It also has, they at least mark the privacy right here. It's a little easier to see. You can turn it on and off, location metadata, help improve Claude. I turn it off. That way it can't save the sessions outside of just my own use. It's got my billing usage and stuff like that. I've never reached the usage limits on these tools. You can load, pretty good sized documents into Claude as well. Sometimes I stop and ask it because it's always changing all the time. How big a file can I upload to this tool? And it'll tell me. You can adjust your color mode, background, things like that, fonts and all that. But I put my custom instructions in there. Again, that's under your profile here, and you just go to settings. Make sure you do that. Maybe hit the pause button right now and start with this little list I've given you here, and you can drop them in there. It's very important to have that. Perplexity is a little tool I'm going to give you a tour of. It's a free tool. I do pay for the pro version, $20 a month. But the cool thing about your free version that you're going to set up, if you don't have it already, is Perplexity free allows you 5 free pro versions searches per day. So really don't need to buy pro. I use it for a bunch of other things. So, I do need it. But, for these assignments and the work you're doing, it'll have a little green button down here that'll say pro. And you can click on that and it immediately goes into Perplexity Pro. And so you'll be able to do pro level searches just like I'm going to do here. Little quick tour of it. Over here is where you do a new thread where you save your research in what they call threads. It's just similar to like a Twitter thread or a thread you'd see on Instagram threads, things like that. History, you can go back and click on that, and this is all my previous searches. Over the last few months. You can look and see if there's you produced any media with it. I did some time lapse stuff and a few other things. in here. Those were old archived ones. An old document that I'd done on NIL and state laws about name, image, likeness, and sports. So, a lot of little things I have in there. Discover is just basically like a home page. Used to be how the page looked when you open it up. So it's got a bunch of recent news articles, finance data over here, financial data. Looks kind of like, a Google Finance page or a Google News page almost. Spaces allow you to build various projects in here. These are some projects that I've done in the past. And yeah, you can go back in and open those up. I have them all set to private. This one I actually shared with some reporters from WebMD a couple years ago. I don't do a lot of bigger projects with this tool. I do it, for smaller research. It does have a finance page too. It's got some other stuff over here: travel, shopping, academic patents. You can look up U.S. patents. And you can add these to the sidebar and customize them how you see fit. Again, I don't, typically use a lot for, finance data. I go to Google Finance for that. But I do use it for searches for chat as a chat bot to find information. So you get the little plus sign up here. You can attach documents and upload them. But typically, I'm using it to go out and search for information. So Perplexity Pro, and this is going to be part of your assignment. I want you to use Perplexity rather than ChatGPT or Claude with it. They can be helpful, but Perplexity really specializes in being able to do deep research. It's really, really a cool feature of it. And you see this little pull down menu here. It's got, actually got ChatGPT built into it, Gemini, Claude Sonnet, a bunch of different tools in here that you can focus on. So you get multiple models in one tool. That's one of the advantages of the Pro version. So what I'm going to do is I've given you guys some base prompts, little practice prompts are linked right here off of your syllabus. And this is just to get us warmed up to kind of think through how to write a prompt if you're going to fact check something, okay? And I'm going to start with the second prompt. And so here's the document. And the second one here, you always get good results from any large language model. If you write a prompt that has assigns it a role. If you tell it, you're a reporter at the New York Times, a reporter at the Washington Post, give it that role and it'll start to think that way rather than just saying, pull research on this. Give it a role and say, approach it as though you're a national security reporter for the Washington Post. You're reporting about the nuclear weapon capabilities of Iran. This is a big story that's going on right now in March of 2026. By the time you're watching this video, it'll be different topics. We can still, do these as practice. But for your assignment, where you're actually going to write a prompt like this for a topic, I'm going to email you different topics. I'll put them up in our Canvas week 2 folder 2, or week 2 module, I should say. You're reporting about the nuclear weapon capabilities of Iran, and if allegations by U.S. President Donald Trump are true. Provide 5 news or research articles that debunk what Trump has said about Iran's nuclear capabilities. So I've given it a role in some specific duties. Notice I keep this, under 60 words. It tends to respond well. Most LLMs do to prompts around 60 words or less. You can go a little longer, but try to shoot for that range. And then you can always do follow-up prompts too. So I'm going to just cut and paste this in, and you can do this as well if you have Perplexity open. Hit submit. And I do ask you that you do this because that way you get your own experience. You might get some different answers. And what's cool about this tool is it goes through and it starts to organize the information. It does a really good job of organizing that. It provides footnotes and links. So here's the footnote here. It's a link to this PBS article. It gives me a little headline and then a quick little summary where it comes from and the date. Views. This fact check notes that it actually found a fact check online that Trump's assertions about Iran rapidly developing missiles that can hit the U.S. contradict a 2025 U.S. government evaluation, which says it's still several years away. And then it focuses on the key debunk. And look at how it formatted this out so nicely. Cites the links You can also click up here on links, and it just gives you all the links that it cites throughout all of the answers. So it just gives you a nice bibliography here. You can also, it'll pull images too. Most of them are, just off of, Google Images. And CNN and others have run, some bunch of Trump photos. I don't use it much for image searching, but it is fun to look sometimes. I've had produce or pull some interesting infographics sometimes. You got to be careful with copyright on the images and the graphics. Here's a New York Times article as well. So you see, it's really giving me some very direct answers, and this key debunk too really narrows it down for me and pulls it, right out of this Reuters article. You can actually see where it references it in the article. It's pulling from, Arms Control Center. I'm not quite familiar with that one, but the other ones, Reuters, New York Times, PBS, Public Broadcasting, and go scrolling through here and seeing, some academic articles to DNI is a PDF. This is it looks like a government study. It's from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. pretty heady document. That's the own U.S. intelligence department's reporting on this topic, and it again debunks things that Trump was saying. So, and you can take and download this. I'm going to give it a thumbs up. It gave me what I was looking for. It's accurate. It was up to date too. I probably should have been able to click on that too. You can copy this. You can download it as a PDF, markdown file, a Word doc. Typically, I'm going to download things as Word docs. So this is a way you can use it to fact check a current topic and to get to some information right away instead of maybe going out searching for different fact checks and things like that on Google search, which could take a while. This packages it together quite nicely for you in a nice little report. So we're going to have you do this and then have you go through these articles and see, does it really support the debunk and things like that? And you'll post this into your Medium post and share it over, your Blue Sky posts, your Blue Sky social sites. Here's another one. This first one on the list is kind of more for if you're reporting on a topic, which could be helpful. I mean, it could, produce some information that's, good for fact checking. The second one was specifically for fact checking. But the first one, you're a medical reporter for the New York Times. You're reporting a story on sports concussions and CTE, and you need recent relevant research articles, statistics, and journal articles on the topic. The story is centered on, I never say centered around, centered on pro and college football players. Share at least 7 or more relevant studies, a short summary of each, and include hot links to the research. So what I'm going to do is go in, and I've got, Perplexity set up to save this, so it auto saves my, first search. Go in, always start a new chat. Don't just follow up with this because sometimes it gets confused and starts pulling from both topics and can get a little crazy. Can actually mix the research together. Always start a new prompt or a new chat and run your new prompt there. It's kind of cool. It shows how it kind of thinks through this. It's running Python to complete the steps. And the Boston University Brain Bank, they've done, this is a pretty major study on NFL players and CTE. These are the proteins that lead to early onset Alzheimer's. In Nature 2025, this is a paper that was published in Nature magazine, nature.com. There's another one here. I was quite familiar with this one. Journal of Sports, British Journal of Sports Medicine. It's kind of interesting. And they've done some autopsy work and cited it in there. CARE Consortium, 87. The the NFL's concussion epidemiology, and they made some rule changes. This was forced by a lawsuit filed by the NFL Players Association, won billions of dollars to help players. And that one of the things they said is you got to start doing change some rules about dealing with concussions. Actually, set up a little statistical table here for it. That was kind of interesting. One on retired NFL players, cognitive and mood outcomes. Some really good stuff. UT Dallas, University of Texas, they've done studies for years, all the way back to the 1990s, I was doing reporting on this topic back when I was covering the NFL years ago. And we didn't know what CTE was at the time. We just knew, players were forgetting their own names and getting lost on the way home from practice. And we didn't know why, it's just thought, wow, concussion, symptoms are very short term and should wear off. We were starting to see that earlier in UT Dallas. And Baylor University too were doing some of those studies on high school players 30 years ago. And it's just scary to think about that. And some others here. It says, would it be helpful if I pulled out a few player level anecdotes and stats? And I'm going to tell it yes. Yes. It also gives me some other follow-up ones here. Latest CTE research from Boston University, I would probably want that. So I'll click on that and then say yes. And I'll actually just copy this. Now the question is this information uh, is this information reliable? You have to go in and read the studies and look at the details. Here, that's why we have the links. Why I told it to produce the links as well. And you see them here, and then the hot links as well. So if I want to pull out a couple of these, I can. It cites all of its sources down here. Again, a little bibliography that you can look at on the side. It's also available at the very top of the page as well. So you can always see where that information is coming from. That's what's critical. Some of the early AI large language models would cite all these statistics here, but not attribute them to any study or any hot link to it. And early on, a lot of us were beta testers. I was for Google's Gemini, and I told them, I go, you got to give me a link to the resource and cite, the name of the study before I'm ever going to use any of this. I'm not just taking AI's word for it. My God. As you can see here, pulled these anecdotes out from these various studies about, and some great data in here too. It's really, really good stuff here. So Boston University, this is their CTE Center data. So I've got now a very deep, research. If I'm writing this article, I've got some really good research right at my fingertips. Again, that I can just take and download. If I need the whole bibliography, it's all up here from everything that was pulled from. And it depends on the topic. Sometimes you can go deeper. I kept it to about 15 links total, but I can keep pulling. Focus on offensive and defensive alignment. It starts suggesting these ideas. It's almost like suggesting story ideas to you as a journalist. Just kind of interesting. So this would be more if you're reporting a story, but I wanted to show you both ways. One, how you can use it in a very practical way to fact check a claim by someone by pulling research. And this is how fact checkers do it. They pull this information on the fly and write these little summaries, fact checking something that Trump or another world leader has said, something from a speech or something like that. So your assignment, which will be emailed to you, it'll be up in the week 2 folder. And like I say, I can't post it now because I'd be looking into the future, but it'll be something timely. And you use Perplexity to research, you copy that research or pull it out as a Word doc. Post it in Medium, kind of talk about your process, maybe a paragraph or two about how you found the information, what was useful and what wasn't in debunking or fact checking the topic. And I always like to do something current, that way it's fresh and you're writing about something that's relevant. Length of the post is up to you, but do give it its due diligence. As you saw there, I pulled quite a bit of research. Cite the links in the research that you use, evaluate the quality and accuracy of what you find. Is it accurate? Is it debunking the topic or the issue or not? And that's due by Monday, June 29th. Again, this is for summer of 2026 class. So if it's you're in maybe another semester, the deadline will be different on your syllabus. So make sure you get that done and share it to the Blue Sky social post. Do the description first, then the link to the published Medium post, and then the UIC Digital hashtag at the end, just like we talked about in week 1 on setting up the accounts. Your readings for next week, pretty light. It's just 4 things that you're doing an assignment. So good luck with all that. Reach out to me, email me if you have questions or anything. I'm around all the time. So, do reach out. If we have a TA for that semester, they might be able to help too, but I'm always available, and appreciate, your effort in reaching out for help. So good luck with this, and have at it. We'll see you again in a week, for week 3.